Girls Talk Shirts. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Girls Talk Shirts. We're so happy to have you with us today, and happy Easter week.
Yes. Hi, guys. Today we will be diving deep into a personal journey as we share our testimonies and our walk with God.
Yeah, it's a topic that's close to our hearts, and we're incredibly grateful for the opportunity to open up and share with you all.
Yes, but before we begin, we do want to say thank you to everyone tuning in. We know that all of you come from different backgrounds and beliefs, and we want you to know that you are valued and respected here.
Absolutely. Our goal today is definitely not to impose our beliefs on anyone, but to simply share our own experiences with faith and our own walk with the Lord. We're hoping you can listen with an open mind and an open heart, regardless of where you are in your own journey.
Yep. And as we discuss this topic, we do want to create a safe space for vulnerability and authenticity. Savannah and I strongly believe that sharing our stories can lead to understanding of each other's struggles and also our triumphs in life.
So whether you're a returning listener of ours or you're just tuning in for Girls Talk Shirts for the first time, we're so glad you're here. So without further ado, Emily will start us off and tell us about her personal walk with God.
Yes, thank you so much, Savannah, for that. So I was just telling Savannah before we press record, and we have to just start pressing record when we first get here because we talk about a lot of good stuff and then it's all, just wasted because nobody was recording it. Mm-hmm. My journey with the Lord, I grew up in church. Didn't know anything else really, just from the moment of birth. I was there in the church, and my parents taking me every Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesday night. That was our routine. And I did really like it. I never complained about having to go. I wasn't one of those kids that, I don't want to go to church. I really enjoyed it. And I really loved the church that I grew up in. I thought we had such an amazing kids ministry, and I still do think that it was one of the best kid ministries out there with an amazing children's pastor. I didn't know anything else. I always, from the very beginning, had this faith, I guess, in the Lord and in all of the Bible stories that you learn about and everything. And when I was in the 5th grade was when I decided to get baptized. And so I went through all of that, and I was very happy to do it. Nobody pressured me into doing it. It was definitely a choice that I made by myself. But I think at the time, it was just something like I had seen it so much and knew that was something that you did. And so I do think it was maybe something that I didn't, not necessarily I didn't do for the right reasons, but definitely now, as an adult, I wouldn't mind getting rebaptized just because now I feel like I have more of an actual relationship with the Lord and can truly make that decision of choosing to live my life for Him and everything. So, I think you can get baptized as a child, definitely, and that be your declaration to living your life for God. I think that's totally fine. I think it's just a personal thing for me. I would just like to do it again just to have a little bit better of an understanding of why you choose to get baptized and definitely have a better understanding of my walk with God. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I never had that sort of moment of, feeling really lost, what is it? I was lost and now I'm found, mm-hmm. Sort of thing. Not that I wasn't ever lost, but it wasn't I've never been in church and now here I am, finding Jesus for the first time,
right,
type of thing.
Yeah.
So, and then I was telling Savannah that it really probably wasn't until I had my first son, Atticus, and the immense love that I had for him it was like in that moment that I really understood the incredible love that God has for all of us. Mm-hmm. Like I would do anything for my children. I love them so, so much. And God's love for us is so much more than that. Mm-hmm. Like we cannot even comprehend his love for us, like the quantitative love that he has for us. And like that, it's almost overwhelming to even truly think about, because it's overwhelming, like thinking about how much love I have for my own children, and then to try to think of God's love for us. Like it really is like an ocean that you're like drowning in this love and this grace. And so, yeah, it really wasn't until I was an adult and a first-time mom that I really, really understood the value and the capacity of God's love for me. Mm-hmm. Which is almost kind of embarrassing to say, because I've been in the church for like my entire life.
Right.
But it wasn't until I was an adult that I was really able to kind of figure out what his love really was and what it meant. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah, I love it. I love when you were telling me how you felt like that immense love whenever you had Atticus, because I can totally relate when I had Grayson. Like I didn't understand that I could love something so much. Like the way that I love my husband, I thought, you know, mm-hmm. I love him so much.
Yeah.
How it's going to be the same. But it's a totally different kind of love.
Yep.
And just to think that the Lord looks at us that way, but it's even greater. Mm-hmm. Is, like you said, it's overwhelming to think about. If you really sit down and think about it, it kind of gets a little to be too much when you just sit and soak in it. But yeah, I like that. And I like that we have different stories, like that our walks with God is so different, and yet it's the same end, mm-hmm. like the same ending. Like, you know, we both have relationship with God, and that no matter how you got there, it's good either way.
Yeah. And I also want to stress, I don't have a perfect relationship with the Lord the same way I don't have a perfect relationship with you or with Anthony or even like with my children, like, mm-hmm. because we are human and we are not perfect. You know, it takes time and effort and work and communication. And I definitely, you know, struggle even now, like with making time to have like my prayer time and like quiet time, like with the word and like with like my prayer journal or something. Like I don't always write my prayer journal. I wish I did. I wish that was something that I could get myself to do every single day. Mm-hmm. But doesn't mean that I'm not praying, mm-hmm. but I do really like the act of actually writing it out. But yeah, like, I mean, just because you have the relationship with God doesn't mean that you're not going to have, you know, struggles in life. I have definitely had a few of my own, you know, go back an episode or two and you can hear, you know, what I have struggled with since, you know, just like graduating high school. But it is so comforting to know that I have this Father that is there with me through it all, with every emotion and with every struggle that I have. He is there with me. It's not kind of like you messed up, now I'm not going to be there for you type of thing. It's like, no, like, here's my hand. I will help you climb up this hill.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I will be down in the valley with you. I will be on the mountaintop.
He allows the growth.
Yes.
And yeah, I feel like our relationships, that's what they are. They're just an everlasting amount of growth. Mm-hmm. And, you know, just from how long we've been friends, like our relationship has gone through so many different things and so many different aspects of life. And just the growth of it, I feel like, is what builds the bond.
Yes.
And And it's the same thing with your walk with God. He allows you to grow. He understands that we're gonna screw up.
Yes.
More ways than one, I'm sure. And just the ability that he offers us grace and he offers us forgiveness, and just having that relationship with him to lay it all on him. And, we think our friends and our husbands are a shoulder to cry on, but like the shoulder of God is, you can lay it all on him. He will help you carry that cross of your burdens and your stresses and your everything you're going through in life. And it's just, like I said, it's an overwhelming relationship.
What's that verse? My yoke is easy and my burden is light. Mm-hmm. I don't know where it's found, but I know it's in there somewhere. But see how good of a Christian I am. I can quote it somewhat. But I do want to share one thing that I have really been loving doing with reading my Bible is like, I'm trying not to just like read it just to get through it, just to say, oh yeah, I read the whole thing. Mm-hmm. I want to actually try my best to like understand it and really kind of let it resonate and marinate with me. And the last one that I have written down in here, this is how bad I am. I haven't written in it since February 27th. That's how bad I am. But I did share this on my Instagram stories. It's from Psalm 37. It's a very short chapter, but David stresses in this chapter a lot. He says it a lot in all the other chapters that he writes too, but in this one, he says 7 different times to trust in the Lord and to wait on the Lord. It's, just over and over again, trust in the Lord, delight yourself in the Lord, commit your way to the Lord. And 4 more times he says it. And I just think it's so incredible to me how much he says it, because it's true. When you live every day, no matter what you're doing, whether you actually work in the ministry or you're a stay-at-home mom or you're a nurse, like no matter what you're doing in life, do it unto the Lord. And while you're doing it, trust in him that he is with you in whatever season that you're in, that whatever you're going through, he is there with you, and that he has you there for whatever reason, And I don't know. I think one thing for this one, verse 7, be still before the Lord and wait patiently for him. I have 0 patience. If you know me, if you truly know me, I do not have patience. And that is the only one that I actually underlined, because waiting patiently is not something that I am good at. And especially in certain aspects of my life when I am like praying to the Lord, like, when is this going to happen type of thing, whether it's waiting for another baby to happen or waiting for a house to be built, or now that we're back here waiting for our forever home, wherever that might be here. I just kind of want it to happen immediately. I think definitely in this day and age, we are now trained to just have things immediately. I can look up whatever I want to on my phone or my computer and get the answer immediately. Like if you wanted to know, I don't know, what VCR stood for, you could look it up, and 2 seconds later, you would know it stood for video cassette recorder. And then VHS stands for video home system. That part doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Why is that called a video home system? We had a whole
discussion about this prior to recording.
But I found out the information instantly. Mm-hmm. And I think that is the struggle that we are having in our society these days, of just getting everything we want immediately. You want to order something off of on Amazon or whatever, you can get it today. You can have an Amazon driver right now driving past your house. I bet. Look out your window, wherever you are. I bet you see an Amazon truck driving by. Or if you live here in Lakeland, I bet you see an Amazon plane flying in or flying out, because it's just something that we need it now type of thing. But that isn't how the Lord designed us to be. Things take time. We have seasons for a reason. The whole world is going through seasons all of the time. Right now we're in spring. hopefully we'll get to summer soon so I can get a tan going, and then, you go right back into fall and winter. He has designed it for us this way for a reason, for it to come in his own timing.
Mm-hmm.
And that is something that still to this day, I am still working on, but I don't know. I am really, really loving where I am at right now in my walk with God, and that I have made it to this point in my walk with him where like I actually enjoy reading the word. I used to just do it as like a chore.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, I have to read a little bit today. But now like I honestly do look forward to reading a chapter or two of whatever. Right now I am still going through the Psalms because I really, really love all that. And there is a lot to go through in Psalms, but I love it. David, he didn't write all of them, but he did write most of them. And he is such a tricky character. He is so complex and goes through real emotions that, I don't know, I just really resonate with. I mean, I haven't done half of the things that David did. Go read the Bible. There's a lot of tea in there that you need to read. But like, it is just so nice, like knowing like, man, David really screwed up his life at certain points. And here he is writing to the Lord about, like, come pick me up out of this, miry clay and set me on the rock type of thing, and I'm just like, dang, like, I feel that, David.
Yeah.
I feel that. And I honestly like just truly am loving where I am at in my walk with the Lord. And I can't wait to see where we go next.
Yeah. That's why, just to kind of piggyback off of what you were talking about when, God's timing is just impeccable.
Yeah.
I brought up, I don't know what verse it was specifically, but I pulled up a text message that I had sent Caroline a day that she had a job interview. And I wrote out a prayer for her. And then I wrote, that I did a devotional that morning. And the verse was, the Lord is not slow to fulfill his promises. And
yes.
I put like, I think this can be used, just for what she was going through. And I go back to that and I wish I remembered where that was to be able to share it. But I think that's just so good. Like the Lord, he's not slow. Like he's not slow. He's not fast. He gives it everything to you the time that you need.
There is a rhyme and a reason to everything. And he is the author of time. Mm-hmm. Don't be telling him the time schedule that you need. Like, let him tell you the time schedule that he has, like,
yeah,
man, I feel like I could preach. Somebody hear this and turn it into something. I mean, it's not going to be me because you just heard me 2 seconds ago. I was talking about VCRs, so don't rely on me.
Oh, I love it.
All right, Savannah, would you like to go into your testimony now?
So, I'm a little different than Emily in the sense that I was not raised in the church, not for any reasoning of my parents not believing in God. Both of my parents do believe in God and were raised that way, but just didn't work with our family in the sense of going on Sundays. My parents did split up when I was younger, so I may have been like switching houses on Sundays or just things came up. But we did go, for like Easter or maybe like a Christmas Eve service. And then every summer starting in like the 3rd grade, I went to a church camp for a week, which super fun. I have very fond memories of church camp. But that's kind of where I was. I went to also backing up. I went to a daycare at a Baptist church, and I went there from 8 weeks old up till I was in the 2nd grade. I went to this daycare and then the after school program. So I was exposed to church. I was exposed to God and everything that came with it, but I didn't truly understand it. When I went to the church camp, I claimed to be saved because I thought, oh, if I just believe in God, that means I'm saved.
Yeah.
And then I stopped going to this church camp in like middle school. Then I just didn't really think about it. It wasn't something that I stopped believing in God. I just didn't do anything. I didn't go to church. I wasn't involved, anything like that. Until my freshman year of high school, when our friend Morgan, they were very involved she was friends with Emily. That's how I met Emily. But during their youth group, they had this thing going on called the One, where they prayed for one person for a year to come and find the Lord. And long story short, I found out I was Morgan's one. And she had invited me several times to come to church, and I just never went. And then there was one week where she was like, hey, like, this is Fine Arts Night. I'm performing. Morgan and I cheered together. So I was like, oh, it's just a performance, not like church. So like, yeah, I'll go. So I went to Fine Arts Night, and they did their human video, and it was all the wind.
I didn't know. I need you to pause. I didn't know you were coming thinking it was going to be like a cheerleading.
No, I didn't think it was a cheerleading performance, but
yes, but in your head, it was kind of like, this is just like,
yeah. Like, oh, she's just going to perform something.
Yeah. Okay.
I didn't understand.
Yeah.
I don't know what I thought it was. I assumed it had something to do with church and the Bible, but I didn't know what exactly it was. She had talked about it several times,
here's the deal. Nobody knows how to explain a human video, so.
It is just that. A human video.
You know what video? Put humans in it, and that's what it is. That can be our next episode, is just trying to describe what a human video is.
So yeah, fine arts, it's just this church-based type thing where you do all these different things, whether it's human videos or it's art or it's singing or it's preaching, all these different categories. But I came to specifically watch Morgan do a human video. And
how did you get there? Were you driving yet?
No. I believe my mom dropped me off, or I came with Morgan.
Okay.
I probably didn't come with Morgan because she probably had to get there
early to practice.
I don't know how I got there. I got there somehow. I'm assuming my mother probably dropped me off. But I went, I watched it, and I, to this day, remember the overwhelming feeling I got watching the video. Because that video it
was a good one.
It's very good.
Classic.
And it doesn't have a lot of like really difficult understanding like stories. Like if you don't know the Bible, like you wouldn't necessarily understand certain things that are done in human videos.
Yes.
That one I felt was very like direct. Like I understood everything. And then at the end of that service, the pastor would come up and he would discuss, if this is your first time, if you haven't given your heart to the Lord. And I remember just falling to my knees, and I cried, and that was it for me. I actually still have that date in my calendar. I celebrate it every year.
Aww.
And that was the day. It's April 25th, something like that. And but yeah, it's in my calendar, and I usually share something on Facebook every year. And I always text Morgan every year.
Yeah.
And, but after that, I started going to church on a more regular basis. And then the next year was when I got involved with fine arts. That was my first year doing my own human video. And then I became super invested in that church. We were actually talking about this at work yesterday. Like I got to a point where I loved being at church.
Yeah.
Like, there, like you were talking about, you as a kid, you never had, you never complained about going to church or anything. Like you have kids who are basically forced to go to church every weekend. And I was that kid that I was there on Wednesdays before church, and I was probably one of the last ones to leave. And then, which my mom hated when she had to pick me up because she would be waiting in the car for like an hour. But I was just so overwhelmed by the feeling of being at church, like just the feeling included in that group. And then just, I loved worshiping, and I just felt so comfortable and so welcomed there that it changed everything.
Yeah.
And, after we graduated high school, we all kind of went our own ways. So we didn't really go to like youth group anymore.
Yeah. You kind of enter like this weird stage of like, well, do I now have to go to like the big church?
Like, am I
the fact that both of us just called it big church.
That's how it would be. Like, are you going to Sunday morning at big church?
Yeah.
Or are you going?
Yeah. Are you going to big church, or are you going to the FLC?
Yeah.
That's what it would be. And it was like this weird transition of, am I now an adult where I have to go in there, or do I stay in here where I'm now older than everybody?
Yeah. And also at that time, I started working at Outback, and they did kindly give me every Sunday off because I was coaching fine arts also at that time. So I needed Sundays off, but they could not give me every Wednesday off. So I kind of, I couldn't go on Wednesdays all the time. And then I would go Sundays and then coach. But after I stopped coaching, I kind of just fell away from the church. And there's other reasonings that went into me falling away from that specific church. But I could feel myself kind of drifting away from my relationship with God. And we've already talked about, when I went through a really hard breakup, I finally got to a point where that's what I just relied on. I went back to God. And I think that was when I truly saw him working in my life. And, growing up, I went through, just different family things that were hard for me. And going through that breakup, that was the time that, God really showed himself to me, and I understood he was showing himself to me. As a kid, I never really grasped, I'm sure I felt maybe the presence of God, but I didn't understand the capacity of it. Whereas when I was, all those days that I was just alone, and I would just pray, like, take this hurt that I'm feeling, like, just take it away. And I, for a little bit, thought that, God just wasn't listening. He was punishing me for the way that I was acting, right when the breakup happened. And I thought for sure, like, he's just punishing me. Yeah. Like, this is his way of saying, you shouldn't have acted this way, so now you're going to hurt. And when I lost that like mindset, when I really just allowed him to work in me and work in my life, that was when I started, reading my Bible more. And I didn't belong to a church, so I just kind of went to different churches every now and then. And then I started, streaming services, and I just got more comfortable again in my relationship with God. And, And then Aaron and I, we didn't belong to a church. So then when we started dating, we, again, would stream services. The pastor that actually married us is his parents' friend from Indiana. He has a church and he's a pastor. And so that was the services that we would usually stream. It's a very small church up in Indiana. But we would watch that. And, just more recently, it's been something that's just been weighing on me. Like, I want to feel that inclusiveness of a church again.
Yeah.
Like I want that for me. I want that for Graceland. And, I've always told Aaron, if he's not comfortable at a church, he was raised in the church and it's something he believes in God. He goes to church but we differ in the sense of like, he doesn't need to feel like the inclusiveness. Like Aaron's a very private person. Like he's good with doing things in private. So, streaming the services he enjoyed because he got to, just do it in private.
Yeah.
And, but since we've started going to church with Emily and Anthony, he definitely does enjoy that church. It also helps that the pastor's name is Aaron. So but it's been so fun going as a family and taking Graceland and just exposing her to everything that, the church has to offer for kids and, having her ask questions. And don't get me wrong, there are some questions that I don't really know how to answer or how to like go about. Like there was one day we were driving and I hit every green light and I was like, oh, the Lord is with us today. And she goes, Mommy, the Lord is dead. I was like, oh, okay. Like, yes, but like
He rose on that third day.
Like, yeah, but it's one of those things where I'm learning as a parent, like how to go about it because
that is, like as a kid, you're hearing, okay, he died. And then now you're telling me he came back from the dead. Like it is kind of like a zombie story type of thing. Like how do you properly explain this to him? And then also like, Atticus has asked before, like, how is God everywhere? And I'm just kind of like, I don't know the science behind it. I don't know. He just is because he created everything. And so he's in everything and he's always there.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's so hard. And I never thought of it like, before obviously having Graceland, like it's just been something that I understand it just because like of everything. But
it's almost kind of like, I don't know. I think you get to a certain age and then maybe you just stop asking questions about stuff.
Right.
But kids are so curious. And so they're just going to ask questions. Yeah. And so they ask questions and you're just kind of like, nobody gave me a manual for this. Right, I don't know how to answer this question for you other than just like he died and he came back to life. Like there is no explanation other than that's just what the Lord can do. Like, I don't know. Maybe there's a book out there that we can find because I have definitely dealt with the same, very similar things.
Yeah. So, kind of just to go back to like my story, I did forget to mention, I was baptized when I was, how old were we? Probably like,
you were in high school.
Yeah.
So
I was either like 16. We had to be 16 because we were driving. Because we drove after Sunday morning service. We went and got lunch and we came back because I had to go to like the informational like meeting thing for the baptisms.
I'm trying to remember. I have to base things off of when certain events happen. Did I have my braces still? I don't know. Did you still have your braces? Do you remember?
No, I didn't.
So you were 17 then?
Yeah. I was either in junior year or senior year of high school.
Okay.
But yeah, I was baptized when I was a little bit older. Emily was with me. And I remember that morning at church and they were talking about baptisms that day and it like just came over me. I'm like, it is time. Like
I remember I was so excited.
Like I want to be baptized and I understood what it meant. And it was, I also have those pictures still in my Bible. I showed Emily at church the other weekend. But yeah, I remember being baptized and it was just this amazing feeling of just understanding it. Cause like you said, like you see like the kids getting baptized, which is just, I love it. Cause these kids, are knowing God and they're like, yes, I want to show it publicly, like that I love God and I love it. But to do it when you're older and you actually can comprehend, what it really means. But like you said, it would even be nice to be baptized again now that I've gone through certain seasons of my life.
Yeah.
And I've seen the Lord work in my life. Like, it's one of those things where it's like, I always believed in God, but then to see him work in my life and to see him bring me out of such a hard place.
Yeah.
And then to just show me the grace that he has shown me that's what I try to tell people, because I've run into people who are very vocal of not believing in God. And I'm like, how can you not? Mm-hmm. But then it's my personal experience. Like, if they haven't gone through something where they felt the Lord work, maybe that's why they don't. But it's so hard because I've seen what he's done for me, and I've seen how he's worked in my life, but also just the blessings. And I mean, don't get me wrong, like things that have happened in life, like, yeah, I've worked for it. Becoming a nurse, I worked hard for it. That I worked hard for that. Like, that wasn't something that just came out of thin air. But I truly believe his timing of everything, his timing of bringing Aaron in my life, his timing, for things to just work out to where we needed them for me to be able to accomplish that. And, just, I don't know, it's a crazy thing, but it's been an interesting walk with the Lord that I've had. Very, like you said, he'll be with you in the lowest valleys and he'll be with you on the mountaintop.
Yeah.
And he has pulled me out of some dark places, and I've praised him through the storms, through the good times, and it's been fun.
Yeah. I think there's that saying, or maybe it's a Bible verse, of, if we praise God for the good days, then we need to also praise him for the bad days. Cause you can't it's like having a best friend that, like they give you presents all the time or whatever. And then there's a day like they don't give you a present. It's like, well, I mean, you can't just be constantly like there's ups and downs in life. That is just part of life.
Right.
And no matter what you're going through, he is there. And when you're having a good day or a bad day, he is there. So you just gotta praise him through it all.
Yeah. And I think just one of the biggest things is just know if you're going through a tough season, it's not a punishment.
Yeah.
And, the Lord isn't going to punish you it's not like, oh, bad things happen to good people or things like that. Like, it's not a punishment. It's just a season.
I think it's easy to kind of like picture God as like this big, like puppet master almost kind of thing. Like, oh, you made a mistake, so you get a bad day. Oh, you didn't pray to me today, so you get a bad day. Like, that isn't how he operates at all, and he is a loving, caring father to us. And maybe that's difficult for some people to wrap their minds around because maybe you don't have the best relationship with your earthly father. And so it's hard to think of having a good relationship with your heavenly father. But yeah, he's not just some evil creature, like just passing out, bad times to whoever, like he wants you to have a good life. He wants you to have good things and blessings, but unfortunately, because of there being, sin in the world, you're also going to have to, deal with some bad days too, like everybody experiences the good and the bad,
I totally agree. Should we start talking about shirts?
Yes. Let's talk about these shirts. Why don't you start? Because you have had a little bit longer to kind of deal with the situation.
These shirts, y'all, that I ordered. So an ad popped up on my social media, and it was, you buy a shirt and you get this one free. And it's like Christian-based sayings on these shirts. And the one, it says the heavens are roaring, and it has a lion on it. I just thought it was cool. So that was a free shirt. And I'm like, great, let me go find another one. The one I got is, it says in my praying mama era. I think that was cute. So I got that. $30, got 2 shirts. I bought these shirts on March 3rd. It is March 23rd. And I still have not received these shirts. But the day you guys are listening to this, which will be the 26th, they are supposed to be delivered that day.
Let's hope so. Fingers crossed.
I'll put it on the Instagram if they actually get delivered. But yeah, I believe our Comfort Colors shirts, which I've already talked about in the past, they are the superior t-shirts. But yeah, I don't want to talk bad about the company because it's a small business, and I like to support some small businesses. But their shipping and processing time.
She did not share the struggles that she had with this. She did talk to me one day about, I saw this shirt, and so I'm going to order this. And then maybe like a week and a half, 2 weeks later, I then see the ad pop up on my Facebook. And I was like, oh my gosh, I do really like this. So I got this same two, the Heavens Are Roaring one and the In My Praying Mama Era one. And because they did look super cute online. And I ordered it, I think I ordered it on like March 18th. So I probably won't have mine until well into April. So I ordered mine, and then we go to like dance class, and she was like, oh, remember those shirts I ordered? Well, here this. And Savannah has this whole, she didn't go into it because she doesn't, and I don't want to talk bad about the company either because it is a small business, but at the same time, you're putting this ad out there.
Yeah. Like, don't put the ad of getting a free shirt if you can't handle it.
If you can't handle the influx of orders that you're going to have, then don't put the ad out there.
Yeah.
Like, make sure that you have enough of whatever the inventory is so you can ship these babies out. Because Savannah ended up, trying to contact them multiple times through email, through calling, and then goes and contacts them on their Facebook, and immediate response off of their Facebook, which that drives me insane. Yeah.
So I reached out a couple days after I first ordered, and I sent an email that was just like, hey, I'm just trying to see what your typical turnaround time is, because it was only a couple days, but their their website said that their typical time is 3 to 5 business days. And so I only got the one email that said what my order was, basically my
confirmation.
Receipt. But I didn't get anything after that. But I was getting all these other emails from them saying like, oh, they sell like a box or whatever, and all these things. And I was just like, hey, can you just give me like an idea? Because I bought these things for myself for my birthday, thinking I would have them by my birthday. And from the 3rd to the 19th, that's a decent amount of time.
Yeah.
And so then they responded like 2 days later after I emailed through my confirmation email, but then I also went on their website and reached out through that thing. And then I finally got an email that said that their typical time is like 5 to 10 business days. And they were like, but it should be going out in the next day or 2. A week later, I still don't have anything. And so I reach out again like, hey, it's been the 10 business days, and you said it was going to be the next day or 2, and that was not accurate. And I did not get a response. I reached out through the thing on their website, did not get a response. Then I found they had a phone number. So I called, and it went to a voicemail. I left a voicemail, nothing. And I'm like, I'm not one to complain. I understand you're a small business. I get it. That's why I was happy to support it. But the lack of transparency is what was so frustrating. And then to find out, and then I go on their Facebook, and people are like, where's my order? Where's my order? I'm like, oh my God, I'm not even the only one. And so then I reach out on their Facebook, like write a message. And I, like Emily said, I get an immediate response. And they're like, oh, like if you've ever worked with a screen printer, like you would know, like it's hard. And we're a small business.
I cannot stand that she used that. If you have ever worked with this, then you would understand. Like,
yeah,
but that's not my problem.
No,
like
that sounds like a very much you problem.
Yeah, I don't have to know what it's like to work with this stupid printer thing.
Right.
I just want my order.
Yeah.
You know,
and she's like, there's mess ups. I'm like, I get that. I'm sure Lululemon has mess ups every now and then too, but it doesn't take them a month to send a pair of leggings. Mm-hmm. But then she said that, you know, they're a small business. So if somebody calls out sick, like that changes everything. And I'm like, I get that. And then she wrote back saying, you know, we'll offer you a refund? And I'm like, I want the shirts, but I want to know when I'm going to get them.
No, here's what I would say. I would say, I want a refund and I still want my shirts because this is ridiculous. My husband is an attorney and I will write you a letter using his letterhead.
You can do that because my husband is not an attorney. But I mean, I wrote back and I was like, I'm sorry. Like, I don't mean to be like,
do not apologize, Savannah. You do not need to. See, this is the issue with the world. We think we need to apologize for every little thing. Absolutely not. I am done apologizing. Okay? If I get in this situation, which I probably am, I'm going to reach out to this girl and I'm going to say, listen, who is sick? Who is sick now? Are they still sick? Have you sent them to the hospital?
She's probably going to copy and paste the email she sent to me and send it to you.
Probably.
That if you've ever worked with a
you?
screen
Are you
printer.
sick, Samantha? Whatever your name is. Good grief.
So yeah, they're expected to be here on Tuesday. So
I hope they are. So we can.
I hope so too.
1, just so they can be here. 2, so I can see what I'm about to get.
Mm-hmm. I am curious on the quality because now after I said I believe they're comfort colors, now I don't remember. So maybe they are, maybe they're not, but we'll see the quality.
Yeah. I mean, the designs that they had were really cute.
Yeah.
Like I was genuinely excited to get them, and then I ordered them, and then literally the next day you start telling me about your woes, and now I'm like, oh no.
That's why I was going to order more.
That's why it's like ordering things. I guess moral of the story is be careful where you're ordering from because you never know. One, I do get worried. Like places that have like sales like that, like, oh, buy this, get one free. Like, is this a scam?
Oh yeah.
Or like, what is the quality going to be like? You know, like obviously I don't want to spend, an arm and a leg on something, but also I do get worried. Like when I'm spending very little on something, like, is this going to fall apart immediately? Like, what is this?
It's going to be the size of a teddy bear.
Yeah. Yeah.
Probably is what these shirts are going to be.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I like.
And especially with something that is, seemingly a Christian-based company. Yeah. You don't want to have to deal with struggles like this. Mm-hmm. But it's also kind of like...
Well, what's also annoying is you have to like sign up for like the texts or whatever. And
I didn't. I did not.
Well, see, I thought when I signed up for it, I thought I was going to get a shipping thing in like the next 2 days. I didn't think it would be a month later. And I'm still getting there like, oh, sign up for our box and you'll get a free sweatshirt. Yeah, no, I'm not signing up for anything because I'm never going to get the sweatshirt.
I just got an email from them. Oh, sign up for our subscription box and you can get something for free. And I was like, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. No. You know for a fact you're not going to send me a box.
My 12th box. Maybe they'll finally send the shirt. But like, I just cannot. But it's fine. They'll be here eventually, apparently. So this is why I order off Amazon, 2-day shipping. Yeah. Or the same day.
With Amazon, although I have had issues here and there with Amazon too, because sometimes you have like weird sellers on there. Mm-hmm. And because I tried to buy some clothes for not Atticus, my other son, Bo, off of Amazon for a wedding that we went to back in January. And I was waiting, never got it. And then I go on my Amazon to see that like, oh, this item is out of stock. We've already issued you a refund, but they hadn't. So then I had to go through like this whole big thing, like through Amazon with the seller of them not really giving me the refund. So that was a whole big thing, but that's really only happened to me once.
Yeah.
That's the only time I've ever had any issues with Amazon is trying to get this one thing.
The thing I've had with Amazon would be if I pay the extra to get it the same day, you can pay like $2.99 to get it that day.
Yeah.
And then I don't get it that day. Yeah. And so then like,
which is crazy because I mean, we have the freaking warehouse right here in our town.
My thing is like, just don't offer it if you can't guarantee it. Mm-hmm. Like I get it. If you can't get it to me that day, I totally get it, but I'm not going to buy that one if I need it that day.
I have had stuff that it will tell me that it will arrive between 3 a.m. and 7 a.m. And I'm just like, who in their right mind? One, I don't need it at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Nope.
So why is that an option? Why are you sending people out delivering items at 3 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah. Don't do that at my house because you'll wake my dogs up and then you'll wake me up and I'm just not okay with that.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for listening to this week's episode. I hope that maybe just hearing a little snippet of our testimonies is maybe something that can resonate with you, with your own walk with God. And if you ever want to reach out to us and talk to us about anything, you can definitely slide right into our DMs on our Instagram. It's at Girls Talk Shirts Pod. We are more than happy to talk to anybody and let you know that we are there for you, pray for you, whatever it is that you need.
Yeah. But we will talk to you guys next week.
Next week, yeah.
We hope you have a good Easter.
Yes.
Praise the Lord, for he is risen.
Bye, guys.
Bye.